was a lot of fun, and Sixers win going away. It was a tight one for a good chunk of that fourth quarter, but they got the win, and that's the most important thing because they're moving on as the 7th seed. Win, and you're in. They'll face Boston. As welcome here to Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Cure Auto Insurance. Amy Fiddle, Jim Lynam, and Mark Jackson. And Jim, you and I were upstairs at one point, and we kind of looked at each other and went, uh-oh. Like you just thought it was going to go down to the wire, but the Sixers were able to get important stops at the one end and then make huge buckets, especially from Tyrese Maxey late.
Maxey was great, and I think you just hit it on the head. Their defense was very, very good all night long, I thought. And as a result, they held a team, under 100 points. And I like the way the Sixers responded, particularly their starters, when they needed a basket. They had a lot of, Maxey obviously was the leader, but they had a lot of contributions from the other guys in that starting lineup. And Drummond was phenomenal off the bench.
Absolutely. This was something we talked about in our pregame show, which is why you got to watch pregame. Rebounding was your key. You both said it. Mark, you said rebounding is going to be the key. One of those big reasons is Andre Drummond. The man is an absolute rebounding machine, but he also got a couple of buckets, including a three-pointer there at the end.
He's a marksman, Amy. What you expect? That's what shooters do. Shooters shoot the ball. Listen, our stretch five, Andre Drummond, was tremendous tonight. His physical presence in LA.
Stretch five.
And listen, we gotta get bonus from Shaw too, but we gotta talk about the stretch five, a great stretch five ever in Andre Drummond. He was phenomenal now. His presence in there, throwing his body around, getting position, rebounding the ball like he is one of the greatest rebounders ever, pound for pound. And then his ability to stretch the floor. Now the center's got to come out and respect it, leave the lane open for the guards.
Stretch five is nothing that's never been associated with him, and I love it.
It is now.
When I see Andre Drummond, I've got to tell him he's now a stretch five in this one. But we got to talk about Tyrese Maxey. You saw him as the player of the game on the broadcast for Amazon Prime, and this is a reason why. 31 points, so many clutch closing points for him. Just the 2 turnovers to the 6 assists. 11 of 25, excellent volume. Good three-point shooting. You'd like to have that up a little bit higher, but I'll take 3 for 9 any day. No surprise, Coach. He is our Colonial Nissan game changer. And he is a guy that you can rely on to be not only a guy that closes games out, but consistent throughout the game, and we saw that.
Yeah, no question, Amy. That every time I felt like the Sixers, because there were points in this game where they did have trouble, let's say, being fluid offensively. That's when I thought that Maxey just rose to the occasion. He just has a sense. My team is struggling for a little period here, and he just gets aggressive and asserts himself for plays like this.
And that's what you want to see. The guys that they take games over, and we've talked about this all season long. Sixers have had a lot of clutch games, meaning within 5 points in the last 5 minutes. This was the case here again, and Tyrese Maxey has stepped up in every single one of those. No surprise, a guy we saw 2 years ago really shine in the postseason. He knew the team needed him with no Joel Embiid. He answered the call.
Absolutely, as you expected. These superstars step up when the stage is the brightest, and tonight was bright. The 76 did a phenomenal job from beginning of the game to end, but you can't count teams out now the way guys shoot the ball.
Right.
But given Orlando's size, you was like, are they going to come back in this game? But Maxey continues to step up, plays on, and we have droughts. Not just him, but he opened the floor for other guys as well.
Yeah, I think that's important. You mentioned the size because this is a very long Magic team. They don't necessarily rain down jumpers. They'll drive in at you, but you wonder defensively how Tyrese Maxey would do because he's not the 6'6" guard like VJ Edgecombe, but it doesn't matter when you have that kind of size or speed, and kind of the craftiness, Coach. He's able to get by some of those defenders with that speed and the craftiness.
Yeah, and then when you add his little floating action where he can let go of that little shot before he encounters the defender in the basket area, and it's a lethal combination when you put it all together.
Absolutely is. We got to check out how this one ended because it did go down to the wire. We thought maybe we were going to see an overtime game like we did last night in the play, and thank goodness we did not. So we got 2.5 minutes to go. Sixers up 5, and so this is one of those games,
Great
games,
what
right?
A pass.
Great pass by their stretch 5, Andre Drummond in there. But watch, it's a little bit Harry-Carey-ness when you see about how it's going with Paul George. But who knew that Andre Drummond was going to be the man in the middle of that fire, and he really kind of put it all out.
I mean, the skill of Drummond. He know what to do. He's been here before, and then this guy here. Look at this. PJ gets a shot.
Watch Tyrese Maxey coming up with the defense. One of the league leaders, top 5 in stocks, which is steals and blocks. His speed, Coach, you've talked about it all season long. His speed is what lends itself to plays like that.
It does. It gets him involved in defensive plays, both in terms of chasing somebody down to block a shot or shooting a passing lane to get a steal.
You can see that here, more defense in this one. So this is Paolo Banchero. That's a big guy in there, and they just collapsed that kind of pocket area, the paint area, and they said, yeah, let's go. And that's another big stop right there.
Our energy and athleticism came through from beginning to end, and then right here.
Dagger 3 from the stretch 5. You can see those guys holding up the 3 there. Kelly Oubre. Right, I mean, I guess people are going to have to respect that 3.
2 for 3 tonight. We'll take it all day. Now, you're talking about increasing what the Sixers can do with him hitting shots like that. The 5 has to come out and respect it, which gives driver lanes to everyone else.
Coach, I mean, no one's going to confuse him for a prolific three-point shooter.
The Joker?
Yeah, the Joker. He's the Joker. He's Karl Anthony Towns. He's all these big guys out there. But he did add it to his arsenal. Most importantly, he is a guy that has the playoff experience. He's not going to get rattled, and he does give that presence. No one's going to replace Joel Embiid in his 27 points on average this season. But to have a player that's able to get those rebounds, make that extra pass, and occasionally knock down the shot, I think is really important.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's, in the order that you just said it, number 1, Drummond takes a back seat to nobody when it comes to rebounding the ball. He gets a rebound inside of every 3 minutes he's on the court, number 1. And number 2, I'll tell you where I think it is really critical that he has the ability and he's a threat to make the 3, is when the shot clock is going down. That's when the big guy, if I'm a 5, Drummond can shoot all the 3s he wants. Literally. That means Maxey's not taking a shot. But when I'm penetrating and I have a guy I can throw a ball to who has a chance of making a 3 when the shot clock's going 4 to 3, that's a big deal for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to – you're never going to replace Joel Embiid. We know that. And they're trying to piecemeal it right now after his emergency appendectomy. That was just a week ago. You're hoping that they can get enough going. I think this matchup – proved really well for them because Wendell Carter Jr. is not this giant, dominant center. They don't run the offense through him. But Andre Drummond is a guy, this we've seen the last probably week since Joel Embiid had that emergency appendectomy. He might not have started the games, but most importantly, he finishes them.
Yes, he did. He finished his game. He was very impactful from beginning to end, and he just threw his weight around. Respectfully, I'm just saying that to be flipped. But I want to make sure we understand what Drummond did. 14 and 10, that's his usual. He's a double-double machine when he wakes up in the morning and has his coffee. But what he does is his physical presence. Because Orlando's a tough team. They're physically tough and they're mentally tough because they wear you down with their physicality. But when you got somebody in there like Drummond that can kind of take that heat, take that burden, it kind of makes them back off a little bit, and he did that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is exactly, they're talking about stuff in a stat sheet here. 3 blocks, 3 steals, 2 assists. And there's going to be blocks in this one as we check out Andre Drummond on this one. There's going to be, great, look at that pass. I mean, I don't know that if you didn't watch Andre Drummond for portions of the season, Coach, and you're just now tuning in, that's going to surprise you. It's surprising people that did watch him.
I know Drummond can make a pass, and I'll be honest with you, he makes some passes, that one included, that surprised me. A very, very solid guy, and just I thought he did a great job tonight. Big part in winning this game.
Huge part of winning this game, and I think that's really what you're thinking about. And Tyrese Maxey, I think, hit the nail on the head in his post-game interview. It really was that it takes a village. You needed everyone in this game. When you're shorthanded, a former MVP, a guy that averages or can drop 30 points and averages close to 30 points for you all year, you absolutely have to have everybody step up. I thought they shot the ball well. 3-pointers, not particularly well, but they made them when it counted. And I think, Mark, that's really timely baskets are going to be more than what you need at times because, and I mean that by, listen, they're only going to shoot like 35% from 3, but when you look at when they hit those 3s, it was really big. Tyrese Maxey, obviously, Andre Drummond, but they needed to hit those when it counted more, given the fact that Orlando was trying to come back. Desmond Bane was hitting 3 after 3 after 3.
Yeah, he was. Bane he's just nonstop, isn't he? He's just continuing. Respectfully, he's their only true 3-point threat. So when you have that in your head, you're like, okay, we just got to focus on him for the 3. But he finds a way to get another one off. Bane was very good tonight, but I thought the 76ers' consistent attack mentality wore Orlando down. Because in transition, we attacked them. We rarely walked the ball up on the court. Every time they missed a shot, the Sixers trying to capitalize in transition. They did a good job of that.
Not to be lost in the myriad of injuries last year, and there were a lot of them. Every single player was injured. Andre Drummond was hampered by that toe injury all season long. And here's a guy that everybody was excited that he was back with the Sixers because he had been the best backup behind Joel Embiid. And, Coach, you see, he really struggled, and he had to be shut down after a while because he just could not recover. How good is it to see him come back to this level and help the Sixers out this much?
Oh, big time. And you make a good point. When you look at the number of injuries that the Sixers had last year, including, or starting, I guess I should say, with Tyrese Maxey, obviously they had a bad season. But when you have a semblance of those players this year, we've said it all year long in terms of the depth of this team. And Andre Drummond is front and center when it comes to that. And when you look at all those boxes that when we put that graphic up that he checked in this game tonight, terrific performance.
Couple of assists, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks. That doesn't include some of the deflections out there.
And I'd just like to point out, he goes against Wendell Carter, who's a decent player. Wendell Carter had 1 field goal in this game. And his backup off the bench, Bidzelic, he had 2 points. So the Sixer combo, if you will, they dominated at their position.
Yeah.
What was a close game, as you
said. It was.
said.
Goga Bitadze, who's a much bigger player than Wendell Carter, also not doing anything at all. Go ahead, Mark.
Can we talk about, now we know Drummond with the double-double, but I thought Bona, his ability to protect the rim, he made Orlando second-guess opportunities at the rim because he had some spectacular blocks when he came out of nowhere.
Late.
He came up big in certain plays, and I thought Orlando kept going to him and then looking for him, and I thought that affected him.
I'm going to tell you who it affected. It affected Banchero. 7 for 21, 22 for his 18 points. He made less than 1/3 of his shots because of the inside defensive presence of both Sixer big guys.
Yeah, and that was obviously the game plan.